Hello, everybody. I'm hoping we're all connected. I want to welcome everybody to this year's Africa Forum. It's a real shame that we can't all meet together as we did at the last forum at that wonderful event in Kenya. It's a real shame that we have to meet in this way, but it's fantastic that so many of you have been able to be connected up for this event, and it's great to welcome you all here. In a moment, we're going to hear from Minouche Shafiq, the director of the LSE, and we'll also hear from Firoz Lalji, who, as all of you know, is a key player in the creation of the Programme for African Leadership and the major supporter of the Firoz Lalji Centre for Africa here at the LSE. The Africa Centre has been moving on dramatically in the last few months in all sorts of ways, but I'll come back to that towards the end of the event tomorrow. We'll talk a bit more about where we are now and how we are moving forward into the future. We have a new program starting up on African trade, and we've got some new programs on African youth movements that are already kicking off at the moment, and as well as a whole load of other grants and activities, which I'll talk to you about tomorrow. The purpose of this welcome is just to highlight to you, as you're all aware, the importance of the Programme for African Leadership for us. And this is a forum for you, the PfALers, to meet each other again, to contact each other, to speak about your experiences, and to share ideas with each other in a forum in which we can all kind of move on and learn, move on together and learn from each other. So it's also a way of kind of levering the incredible experiences that PfALers have had since they've left the LSE, and think about what might happen next. With regard to PfAL, the key facts, which I'm sure you're well aware of now, is we have some 500 alumni in the network. I'm not sure how many of you are linked up today. I can't see from the participants how many of you are there, but we are hoping that it's a very substantial number. And it'll be great to kind of hear from you about what's happened in the past year or so, since many of us met before in Mombasa. I'd also like to just thank all our various presenters who are going to be talking to us in this afternoon and tomorrow, and to thank personally Firoz for all his incredible support to the centre and its development, and of course to PfAL in particular, and to our other donors like Gisela and PfAL, whose support has helped finance the way that we're presenting the events over today and tomorrow. So I think at that point, I'd like to hand over to Minouche, who's going to say a few words as director of the LSE.
Tim, thank you so much for that introduction, and thank you for all the work you do for the Africa Centre. Now, I know that some of you have already experienced LSE and some of you are just starting this year, and I wanted to warmly welcome each and every one of you. Now, this, as Tim said, this is a slightly different format than what we were used to and would hope for, but I still hope we can have an exciting couple of days through this Africa Forum. I wanted to say a few words about diversity this afternoon. Now, those of you who have been to the LSE will know that LSE is a very diverse community, and in fact, creating an inclusive community for the LSE is the first guiding principle of our strategy, which we call LSE 2030. It's woven through everything we do, educating for global impact, research for the world, and developing an LSE that is for everyone. And as a global institution, we are diverse in many, many ways. We have students from 148 countries. You'll hear 100 languages spoken on campus. And the school is a wonderful mix of people from all over the world who are attracted by the school's global reputation for excellence in the social science and their passion to change the world. We also have an extraordinary history. I often joke that Oxford and Cambridge used to train the people who ran the empire, and the LSE trained the people who overthrew the empire. And we are proud of many of the African alumni we have in our ranks. You all will probably know that Kenyatta was an alum, as was Kwame Nkrumah, who was the first president of Ghana, as was Kader Asmal, an anti-apartheid activist and government minister. And the school's historical reputation in Africa is one that is something we are very, very proud of. But we're also proud of the incredibly diverse alumni network, and PfAL and the network around PfAL is at the heart of that. It's a great example with representation across the continent and getting more representative with each additional cohort. Now, what I wanted to talk about today was that as part of building an even more inclusive community, LSE has been developing a framework for thinking about the incredibly big topic of race, which at this particular time has clearly gone up the global agenda. We know that it is a huge thing for students from Africa and students who are Black to get to the LSE. When I did my master's course in ancient history in 1986 and 87, I was the only person from the African continent in my MSc program in economics. And we know that there are still many groups who are underrepresented, particularly at a senior level and particularly among our faculty. And so we want to do much better. We've identified 5 priorities for our race equality framework, and I'll just run through them quickly. The first is creating more understanding and conversations. We'll be running much more training for people across the school around how to talk about race, how to think about racism, and also inviting many more people in our public events programs to raise awareness across the school and globally around these issues. Secondly, we will increasingly make our educational offer more diverse in terms of which authors are on the curriculum and on the reading lists, who wrote those and what they're writing about, and making sure that there's a much broader representation and perhaps a less Anglo-Saxon bias in terms of reading lists and topics and authors that our education offers. Third, we want to do a lot more on access and progression of future social scientists so that that future social scientists look more diverse and are genuinely more diverse. And that means targeting some of our PhD scholarships to students from Black and ethnic minority backgrounds, and making sure that we support young scholars from those backgrounds to make sure that they advance in their career and that our future faculty looks a lot more like the world. Fourth, we want to act decisively and quickly on any issues about racial harassment or bullying at LSE. And we've put in place reporting mechanisms, and we want to make sure that they are responsive to any issues that people face, and so that we create an inclusive environment for everyone. And then finally, we want to see diversity among our leaders. Our leaders in terms of faculty and students, among senior positions across the school. Now, I think it's pretty fair to say that in many countries around the world, people are quite disappointed with the leadership that we've got in many places. And we want to support a new generation of leaders and foster a new style of leadership. And PfAL is at the heart of that. I think PfAL's motto that I am because we are captures it so very well. There's not enough we in leadership these days, and there's an awful lot of me in leadership. It's also the fact that that's the case in our societies. And I think PfAL, by fostering a type of leadership which is more about we and less about me, is a powerful force for change and good in the world. So I wanted to congratulate you all for being part of PfAL. I hope that your leadership journeys have been rewarding, and I want you to know that we're counting on you to be leaders of we in as agents of change in the communities in where you live. And we cannot forget, of course, that the wonderful success that PfAL has had in fostering these new young leaders around the world is really only made possible by the generous support of Feroz Lalji and his wife Najma. Feroz has provided incredible support to the school, to PfAL, and to the Africa Center. And over the course of the past few years has now built up this incredible network of talent around the continent. So thank you, Feroz, for all your support and for being an inspiration to so many of us and to inspiring this new generation of leaders. And I wanted to hand over to you at this stage to make some remarks. Feroz, over to you.
Thank you, Manoush. What a powerful and insightful message. You know, I always learn from you, and I'm really proud and thankful for your leadership at LSE. Good afternoon, all PfAL members. Welcome to our forum. The last one we had was in Kampala, and after that we had one in Mombasa, and this was supposed to be in Ghana, so I missed the physical presence. I hope you and your families are all well and safe. I'm here in Seattle, locked down and locked in. So there's much time to ponder the 4 or 5 global issues that we face in the world today. We have a global climate change crisis. We have a global health crisis. We have a global economic crisis. It results in social unrest. And I watch the end of globalization and rise of nationalism. Apart from that, life is wonderful. Success of PfAL and Africa Center, I would say that this would not have been possible without 2 people. It's Dame Manoush and Tim Allen. You know, Tim Allen works relentlessly, and of course, with Manoush and Tim, we get the support and endorsement from the highest level of LSE. I mean, they're caught on to the vision of PfAL and Africa Center and creating the next generation of leadership. We also have very committed, compelled, and passionate staff members. Martha, who runs the Africa Center, Jillian, Ikena, Lawrence, Kojo, Melissa, and last but not least is Stephen, you know, who runs the PfAL program. Most of all, PfAL would not be possible without you folks. You are the next generation of African leaders. You're the ones who are going to bring about change in Africa. And you are LSE grads, okay? Remember that. LSE grad means you're the best of the best. You're going to be in a leadership position in all walks of life. I've yet to come across an LSE grad who's not in a leadership position or not successful. So we will see a real change in the profile of PfAL 10 years from now as you folks migrate from recent students and recent graduates to forming your careers and getting into a leadership position. And we'll see the profile of PfAL being one of accomplished leaders who are impacting Africa. Individually and collectively, I think you're going to bring about real change in Africa. And I hope that you subscribe and stay with the leadership code and let that be your guiding light. Thank you very much, and a pleasure to be with you all today.
Hi everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to the PfAL 2020 Forum. I just want to say thank you very much to Tim, Manoush and Faraz for those incredibly kind words. I'm really glad to have you all here. I know it's not our dream. I really wanted to do this on a beach in Ghana, but I just thought I'd do a quick welcome to everybody. It's so good to see you all on the stream. Just looking at what we have here. Nigeria, Zambia, Ghana, Kenya. That's just a small group of the PfALs I can see so far. So I just wanted to run you down how the idea behind this forum, as seeing as we can't meet in person, and how we'll be running it for the day. What we focused on this year is, because we have such a short time, Zoom fatigue is real, we focused on platforming PfALers. So for the first two workshop sessions, we will be having two PfALers collaborating on a topic selected by the PfAL cohort. Our first workshop is on Digital Africa and will be with Hassan and Sabine, who have been working together on Digital Africa and COVID. And our second workshop will be on future PfAL and the global network. How with PfAL presence in 50 countries, 500 PfAL alumni, how do we carry on building the network and fostering a sense of community between all of us? We are running these concurrently because, as I said, we're very aware of time. I think all of us have spent the entire year sitting on Zoom. So we decided to make it quite short, but you can see in the chat box here are links to each of the different workshops, and then you can choose which one you would like to watch and you can jump between them. Both have been recorded, so will be available on our website. After that, we will be able to, we will have a short break and we are then going to have a panel discussion. Our panels as well, purely PfAL, we thought, let's put you guys front and center of this. We have one panel on COVID crisis and climate change, and that's all gonna be about, is the world's reaction to COVID a precursor to how we're going to react to climate change challenges in the future? We have an amazing selection of people on that. Our moderator is Zachary Mikwa. He is a sustainability expert. We also have Emmanuel Ngogo, who is a conflict expert from Cameroon, Naomi Barasa, who works in healthcare in Kenya, as well as, I've just forgotten my last speaker, that's very rude, Steve Shara, who works for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the Seychelles. Apologies, Steve. And then our other panel will be private sector development and tech, and it's going to look at the intersections of these three sectors and what the future is in Africa and how these people interact. We're seeing a lot of changes in the world, especially in the development sector. I think we've seen it a lot of the moves in the United Kingdom with the winding down of departments like DFID. So how in the future are we going to focus on developing Africa with things, with the help or hindrance of the private sector, with technology either helping or hindering the inequalities we currently face, and and how that will have an effect on our development. That panel will be led by Gino Komu, who is a lawyer for the Kenyan High Court, Madhvi Mutu, who is an international development professional, Hiba Sharma, who works for the Egyptian Department of Education, and Divine Agbeti, who works in cybersecurity. We currently are running a bit ahead of schedule. Please forgive us. The whole doing everything online is a bit of a new world for all of us. So we will be premiering our our presentations at about 2:45. So just take a minute, grab a drink, and be sure to be back with us. If you're looking for the links for your panels, my colleague Gillian, who is just fantastic, has sent them to you via email, but you can also find them in the chat for this session. Cool, and looking forward to today's proceedings. And thank you again for joining us all. I'm really glad to have you here. And let's do this year online, but next year in Accra, because there are many of you I'm really keen to meet up with and just have a nice drink on the beach and have great conversations about all things Africa.